Chang, and I am your TA for CIS P430 with Professor McCarm, and today I'll be going over the addStars problem from your Lab 1 problem set. So let's start off by going over the problem. So it says write a function named addStars that accepts as a parameter a reference to a vector of strings and modifies the vector by placing an asterisk element between elements, as well as at the start and end of the vector, and then it gives you an example. So usually we will start off with the function definition. So with the function definition, you're going to need three things. You're going to need the return type, you're going to need the function name, and then you're going to need the parameters, what you'll be passing into the function. So right off the bat, we know that our function name will be addStars, so we can check that off our list. And then we'll move on to parameters. From the problem, we can tell that the only parameter we'll be passing in is a reference to a vector of strings. Okay, we've got that. And then it doesn't really specify what we'll be returning or if we'll be returning anything, so we can just leave the return type as void. So from here, we can now write out our function definition. And now a common, like a small little syntax error a lot of people make would be to put the reference symbol in front of the variable name and not right after a bracket. So just keep that in mind. And then we can move on to the body of the function. So since we're working with a vector of strings and we know that we're going to want to place an asterisk at every other index, we know that we'll have to traverse through the vector and we'll most likely need to use a for loop. And the only thing that we need to kind of figure out with the for loop is where we're going to start and how much we're going to increment. So we'll know that we'll need to start at the beginning of the vector since we need to insert an asterisk at the start of the vector. And then from the examples that were given, we can see that since it's every other index, we can increment instead of incrementing by 1, we can increment by 2 instead. So from here we can write out our for loop. Okay. And then all we need to do now, since we're incrementing by 2, all we need to do now is just simply insert the asterisk. So we can call the insert function, and then we'll specify the location. So we'll say from the beginning, we'll add by I, which is important to remember when you're working with vectors. Whenever you're trying to find a location or an index or anything, you always want to start off with calling the begin library function. And then we'll insert an asterisk, and then we're done with the for loop. And a small mistake that some people may make is they think that we'll be done with the problem. However, we're not done quite yet because we have to remember that we need to insert an asterisk at the end of the vector. And since we're incrementing the for loop by 2, the for loop will never get to the very end of the vector. It will get to the second to last index. So what we'll do is we'll just call pushback, which is a vector library function that inserts something at the very end, which is helpful for what we'll want to do. And then we can just insert an asterisk, and that will completely finish off the problem. And here we have the solution for the addStars problem. I hope that you were able to kind of understand addStars a little bit if you were kind of struggling when you were doing the lab. And thank you so much for watching.